to being onto Longbottom, which once was Too Savage, just rebranded. So it's just the core members alongside with a little few extra pickups that they would have made along the way, alongside with some returning players. Actually, Silly as well hasn't been in the competitive scene for a fair bit, so it's good to see him back. We did see him play in the finals match against Kaido Kids, but unfortunately it did not pan out in his favor as they were sent home packing. But that being said, we will be taking the chase here on to Silly straight off the rip. Speaking of the man, speaking of the devil, what can he pull up here after getting tagged? But that Kagune tag needs to last here around this filler, but he's going to be grabbed amongst the pallet, but can try to backvolt. No, he's been... Oh, he's had a very short chase. It's not what you want to see. He's going to get picked up here for the pain resonance, and all of a sudden, that's put our survivors on the back foot here. It's not what you want to see for Longbottom, but Space01 now on the front foot with 3 dashes in hand. Can just break the pallet here and traverse in the middle of the map to find his next chase. He didn't really even need to leave Silly, and I got a little bit hesitant when I did see him just kind of momentarily pause at the pallet there, but just getting body blocked. My oh my. Tavi, did you manage to see that after you had just joined us? What are you thinking right now? How are you?
I'm good, man. I was just playing an event and my teammate completely carried me thanks to just them being awesome. But yeah, I'm here now. Silly just got, I think, just destroyed by the ping. Also, hello, chat. I probably did introduce myself, so thanks on top of that. Yeah, I'm a little bit distraught right now. A little bit late. It's my own bad. I feel like, yeah, it's just a huge, I would say, momentum shift for Ancestor. Having that body block space, just got to feel confident about himself. Can also get a somewhat free camp around here. You know, this hook is in an open area, and Kanekis kind of thrive with a lot of line of sight. So unless Silly does want to come in really quickly for the trade, which is the sorry, not Silly. If Kana comes into the trade, yeah, it's you know, that just happened, I guess. So yeah, the trade happens. There's going to be a second pain res on the map, and I think our survivors should be fairly happy about that because trade goes well. That's essentially the reason why you trade, right, Hunter?
Yeah, definitely. It needs to be successful, and it was. That being said, Canna now on the hook for the second stack of pain resonance there. Silly pre-dropping the pallet here over at 8, and now needs to use corner 7, but cannot afford to be zoned, as this will prove to be detrimental a little bit later on. We do lose the 50 there, but like to save us, we are able to use the window over at Shaq. Maybe looking a little bit shaky here because we're really pressing for it. Space01 very honed in on this killer now, trying to play the mind games around Shaq. Silly proving to be a little too experienced to fall for any sort of shenanigans, so really making up for his first chase off in the trial. As we do pre-drop the Shaq pallet here, he is able to use the window once more into the middle of the map, where he potentially has a pallet laid out for him over at 9 tile, and he does so, drops it in the middle of it all. Needs to win the 50 here, does not do so. Can he win the window? He does not, and I thought our killer whiffed there for just a split second. Caught him with the tail end of the swing, so you love to see it if you're rooting for the side of Ancestor there, but that's going to be the tag onto our Jake Park. Fijo's just caught in the middle of everything. We do see in the background Backy on that totem there over at top mid, so he's really trying to break that as soon as he possibly can. I'm not too sure, considering the fact, oh no, it's Wretched Fate gone already. I do believe there's a totem in the background that had already been broken, so that's ruined that way on potentially at the moment. We've gone for a snowball build, so no sort of corrupt intervention shenanigans, but we are only a 2-perk Andy as it currently stands. With only 2 stacks to spare for Pain Resonance, we do still have access to Eruption, so very strong perk in the 3v1 in particular with the 3 gen remaining, and we do have one over at bottom, but it is kind of loose. Over at the top side, I do think we have something a little bit more manageable, if I'm not mistaken. We do have 9-ish, we do have 10, and off in the distance somewhere too, so, you know, top side always probably a little bit better to play, I think, but honestly, actually, it's looking pretty even, to be honest. I mean, yeah, I mean, well, Shaq pallet gone, maybe bottom's the play here, but I guess we'll have to wait and see as we do take the Kagune tag onto Silly again. We're really trying to facilitate that tunnel out, try to get it nice and early. To get a tunnel out against Longbottom at 4 generators remaining will prove to be absolutely incredible for our killer, and we'll put the statement forward going for Ancestor here, but we do not win the 50-50 there. We are going to be slapped in the face with that pallet after trying to body block Silly. Silly again trying to use that window and does win so effectively. still making all kinds of distance, and we've lost sight of him momentarily, and we've caught sight onto Baki. But after breaking the door, we see Silly once more. Now he's just trying to use the pallet on the out front of main. He is forced to kind of play the 50s there, and does he greet it entirely? No, he just has to win the stun. Can he do it on ping? We do have the body coming in. That's Baki taking the protection hit. All in the meantime, you did see another generator pop in the bottom half of the map there. Body blocking our killer is going to be Baki, even healing in his face with the self-care to preserve the life of Silly. Silly now putting on the jets. Again, needs to continue to last here. Baki's been off a generator for a long time, so it's not as much pressure as you would have thought happening off in the distance there, but we do manage to get 4 done, and you know, it's a respectable result to have a tunnel out, down, and out of the game by 2 generators remaining. Silly still winning all kinds of 50s. Can he break away? I don't think he can. He's kind of getting held hostage at this pallet here after the break from Space 01. Just kind of further pushing him down into main again, where he is forced to just greed this pallet. Does still have the drop pallet in front of him, and the body block coming in from Canada. These body blocks are really saving Silly right now, and Space 01 in Struggle Town just really trying to finish off this tunnel out onto Silly, and we are just not dropping it in any instance. Both survivors aren't able to be pain resonance, so there's no real reason to pick up Canalave here. We are just going to be continuing on our tunnel out, but it really needs to happen because it's been a little too long. The stun in his face as well, and all of a sudden what was looking extremely dire for Longbottom is looking extremely good for them right now, Tavi.
It's insane. Somehow they're just managing to throw the bodies back in to keep Silly alive. Candace also just in the locker. Not sure what you're doing there, bro, but it's just gonna get picked down. Silly gets away. That's a huge deal if Space 01 can't capitalize on this, because he invested so much time trying to get Silly out of the game. Second hook survivors, you want to tunnel them out, but maybe is it time to change tack to go for a bit of a different path in this trial? Silly's gonna be found though at the mid-map. Somehow this gets grabbed over the pallet, and I don't think Silly was expecting that from the ping. He's gonna go down, and what seemed to be an extended tunnel out may have just backfired onto Longbottom here, because now with the unhook coming through, there are 3 injuries in this trials, Hunter. That is really, really bad. He gets away, and Shaq at the back, and Space 01 has absolutely no idea. He's stealthed all the way back, and this is the time for recovery. Kanna's gonna get the inner strength healing yet again, I believe it's for the 2nd time in this trial, so really good value from that perk. And our other 2 survivors are definitely doing a good job. Baki's going to be fully healed up very, very soon from the self-care. Maybe Vija gets spotted out. I think there was a bit of movement there, but Space 01 did not catch it. I don't know if he's around this area. He's around this area, but pops the spin burst to make the 4-lane wall. And all things considered, I think Longbottom have done a very good job recovering the position from before, but it is still a little bit of a scramble time if they can't get the generators done for the next down, because Vija, I mean, I think a lot of these pallets around the mid-map were used. Like, you had this pallet gym used by... Oh, no, it's still up. It wasn't broken. And that's a huge deal here, because Vija can use that to make distance to the jungle gym, which is still up, which is even stronger than the pallet gym. But he greets it, and that might have been the wrong play, because he goes down. Canna gets disrupted at the last second. And now the pain resonance might be able to come through just in time to save one of these generators. But there's still another one being worked, so actually there's no pain res, so Canna's gen pops. Baki also very, very close to popping their generator too. But wow, what an incredible amount of pressure, Hunter. I did not expect that from Longbottom, but yeah, it's just now I guess maybe Space 01 is the one who has to come back in the trial. My bad.
Yeah, maybe, because now we are just overcommitting Canalave at the bottom half of the map here. He only has Shaq to work with, but no Shaq pallet, and he has to last so we can actually pull Fija as well as get the gate open on the opposite sides. Playing the check spots really well. I'm very surprised Space 01 hasn't elected to leave. He's done so a little bit late. I would have done that as soon as the generator popped, because I would have been protecting the remaining stages onto Fija, because potentially he can get out from this now. We do have a gate over at 10. We do have a gate over at 1. We need to somehow last long enough without actually going down in the middle of it all. We're going to get... I think we're going to get sluggy with it. as far as Space 01 goes. He won't opt to hook anybody because he wants to maintain the constant pressure, as we do see Feature just trying to work with it, whatever he's got over there towards the middle of main. There goes the injure onto Baki. He's allowed to use the whole of main to his disposal. Canalave is still on that on that exit gate there, happening over at 10 now. Space 01, does he opt to chase this up, or does he go for Canalave? Yeah, I was about to say, surely we go check on the gate, but hang on a second. We've seen Baki. I think we're just content with bringing all remaining stages left in the trial. The body block from Canna! No, he saved his teammate! W stop from Canna, that's elite level ball knowledge to be able to just catch him in the middle of it, or Space 01 just wasn't able to maneuver around the man himself. MVP, just based on that play alone, send him off out of the trial. The nope is coming in. We know he did good, and we're frustrated. For the 7 stages, that's a respect. He only has 7 stages to fulfill when we expect the 10. So it's definitely within the realm of possibility to 4K here. We know last season in True Savage, which was the team that Baki was on, we saw Nu on the Ghoul most times, but Nu's no longer with True Savage. He's not on Longbottom. He has returned back to Gospel, so Baki is the next man for the job, alongside obviously Canalave being probably their next pick, maybe even Feature, but I know he's just well versed in the Blight, and I don't really have any recollection of what other killers he does tend to play, but regardless, Baki is the man for the job tonight. We are going to be just traversing into the middle of the map here, trying to spot out the cross rotations. Yeah, look. We see you, cheeky Leon. Oh no, and this is going to be troublesome, but we've opted not to see him. Oh, there's the Crow, the spy of the shadow, as we were putting it. Law accurate Tavi just dobbing our survivor in, but we're looking in all the wrong places. Leon is still just stealthing around that big rock here. Surely Baki catches onto him in just a second. No, we've gone to 8, and we've just completely lost him a little bit too far in our heads. Honestly, I probably wouldn't have even looked more towards the central part of Shack, because hypothetically with a Crow lifted up like that, you'd think that the bro's stealthing over in the deepest corner, right? You wouldn't think to look back in the loop or just around it on the opposite side. So, you know, you hate to see it if you're really going for Longbottom here, but just spotting out in the distance due to the ruin in play that somebody has hopped off the generator and is going to be getting hit with a Kagune tag. Go to Dagestan, now going to be going to Shack. Hopefully, if he has enough distance to do so. The window is laid out nicely for him, so he's going to be just vaulting that as soon as he sees it, and as soon as he reaches it, rather. That goes another tag with the enraged effect there. We're able to just get back onto Leon, and that's 2 quick tags in very, very quick due time. So Baki now electing to go chase his initial tag there, which I do believe is Go to Dagestan, who has pre-dropped the pallet wrongfully. Unfortunately, that sacrificed all his distance. He does not make 5. He will be going down, and I don't think there's anybody ready for a pallet save, as Leon is kind of stuck over at the corner of 7. We do manage to get our Pain Resonance hook, and we know the gens are being worked over at top side. So if we look at our split here, I'm not too sure if we're going to be holding the bottom. So hey, did we actually catch eyes onto Leon here, which is why we're sniffing out over at 7? It'd be quite interesting to know that fact. And yeah, we are. Wait, we might even just hear him being so close to his grunts of pain, even swinging through the pallet, anticipating that he's going to be camping. So, but we've just W'd away from everything, trying to make away with as much distance as we can. But the follow-up tentacles there is just going to spell the down in the middle of the map. And we know how troublesome it can be when you go down in the middle of Suffocation Pit 1. Baki electing to even slug this because he knows he has the time to do so, but opts to go for the pickup in the end anyway. Might even get a hook here over at bottom mid. Knows nobody's crossing. He knows nobody has crossed at the moment because he knows that they'd be working the top gens. Why the hell would they have crossed if they didn't actually pick up Go to Dagestan? We know somebody's preemptive for the pool, and that's Space 01 somewhere in the midst, in the guts of middle. He just is really on the back foot here. He cannot actually go for the save just yet. Well, at least he can't go for it for free. It will be a 1-for-1 trade, but Baki, again, in such a power position here. Actually, he will get the trade for free because we've taken our eyes off the hook momentarily. And that's going to spell the Kagune tag onto Space 01, who's just forced over into the corner of 2. But I do think Baki will go back for his tunnel out. No, I've been sorely mistaken. But all in the meantime, while this shenanigans is happening in the middle of the map, we do see Go to Dagestan as well as the first generator proc in the background. Go to Dagestan has now hit the second stage. So here's our tunnel out here, and we're just putting the pressure onto Space 01. But I think we're going to be leaving as soon as that unhook happens in the background. And we are going to be trying to play around this very long filler and losing it ultimately, as you do, you know, traditionally, given the fact that it is just such a pain in the ass to be working with as far as the killer goes. And that's going to be the blind, and we're just getting a little bit disoriented, losing our first chasing survivor. And oh, we've caught Yuki in a spot full of hurts. He's going to be just, yeah, once again eating that injure and going to 3. Still no unhook for Go to Dagestan. Are they just leaving him to die? With no pressure on the map, I don't think this is the play, considering the fact that 2 survivors have constantly been off generators, and that's just due to the fact that Baki has put on so much good pressure at this very moment. As he does take the mind games there, heading over into mid, we are going to play the 50-50 at the L War and losing it. Very nice stuff from our Nia there to be able to make the pallet gym, and we do still have the pallet to be thrown. As we do break away and make all that kind of distance there, we are still enraged with 3 tentacles in hand. Can we take advantage of that? No. Hang on a second. We've back vaulted into the loving embrace of Baki, and that will be our Nia. Yuki down again. Leon and Space 01, the only ones left in the trial, and they're so far away from their win condition. Baki so close to his with only 5 stages in his pocket. There is 3 generators still remaining. Oh my, it is looking extremely gruesome for the boys over at Ancestor here, Tavi.
Yeah, it's just that one mistake in the middle of the map where Leon got caught out around the pallet gym. Whether they knew that the ruin was around that area doesn't. Oh dear. Sorry, I had to take a bit of a exclamation from that visual there. But yeah, whether they knew, whether or not they knew that the ruin was there, we won't find out, because yeah, Baki just found Leon and just walked him down. It's gonna walk down Space 0 in the exact same position, and Leon will not be able to get. Okay, he does get the unhook in time. Baki's trying to cut it off though, and I think should be fairly successful, at least securing another down. But this woman tile might actually force Baki away from this. I'm surprised that he's actually committing this chase and not going back to Space 01. Just as I say that though, of course, the Kagune leaps should come in to interrupt this reset, and yeah, that's Baki getting the second down. We've still got 3 gens left in the trial. Oh my god, the dead hard comes through by Yuki. Sorry again if I'm a little bit delayed, I don't know what's going on my end, but that is sort of a game-saving dead hard if you ask me. Though, doesn't really matter because the position is so difficult to recover from for Ancestor that even that one good play just might not be enough to bring this one back. I think that's just going to be Space 01 also going down. It's going to just be the continuation of the slugs. And yeah, just like that, the trial is completely over. Yuki's going to take the down, and Baki secures a 4K3. So really well played. I did want to make a note earlier on, and then I forgot, but I find it actually quite smart how both our killers from Ancestor and Longbottom did not decide to bring Corrupt into a Carney key set, which is like, well, Corrupt is like that staple comp perk, blocking off all the gens, but as a Kaneki, you want to work a gen, well, if it's in the open, you're probably going to get Kagune tag, especially on this map where it's more choke point oriented, and the areas of the map, it's just not as large as Blood Lodge. I sort of like the pick of no Corrupt, and I think both killers got a really good amount of value out of it, because first chase is usually going to happen in the Corrupt anyway, so you might as well just let the gens go, because the survivors won't be able to work them properly. So yeah, Ruins definitely paid off for Baki. It did pretty well for Space 01 in the previous trial, but of course, Baki comes out on top with a
Longbottom's pick, the nurse on the Cold Tower one. It's not every day that you see a team named Long and Longbottom both being very prevalent teams in OSL, so that's something that I've just picked up on right now. But hey, regardless, it's going to be again on the Macmillan maps, but this time around Cold Tower 1 nurse, which we know Baki is well versed in. He is the man that 4K forward or 4K 3'd Team Poland over in Rudiger's tournament. So For those who haven't seen that, definitely go back and watch that one, because that was definitely a sight to see, finding Delhi straight off the rip, and then it just caused a whole bunch of panic for the boys over at Poland. But regardless, that was a time for a different day. That was more towards the start of the year. We're in the present, and Baki now looking around the bottom of the map here. He's really trying to sniff out anybody doing a little bit of stealthing of the cold tower as pre-nurse set. We do manage to find Go to Dagestan stuck in the middle of 5, and he's going to be eating a tag there. He has sacrificed all his distance trying to break line of sight, and Baki is not going to let that go lightly. So that means that after trying to use balance landing off of the rock, that will be Dagestan back on the floor, and he's just not having a good time. Therefore, he will be hooked in the front of main now, which is just exactly where you want to be if you're Baki, because that just denies any sort of 3-gen to be broken in this instance. Look at that. Somebody already working over at 1. You saw them cross over to the corner, trying to make down into 2. Well, they were more so into 2 and going down into 3, but we're trying to just cancel any sort of working around main, but nobody there are going to just fatigue our blinks and potentially even get our eruption proc onto this generator. No, we saw in the corner that somebody was right there. Hang on a second, or maybe they're even inside of main. This is Space 01 in chase now, greeting that pallet and trying to make it away with all that distance down into 8. Baki slowing the game down just a little bit more and just protecting the hook to the best of his ability here, where we could potentially look at this generator over here and then just even hit it back. We'll turn back the clock. Why not? Not too sure if that was worth it, but hey, we've done it anyway. I'm pretty sure I'm seeing somebody over at that corner, over in that I fill loop there too. Yeah, look at the little head bob there. He knows that there's one over at 2 and one over the eye filler as well. There's no pressures, absolutely bugger all. This is the Deliverance play as well, with Overcome in hand that kind of saves them, and they're able to get the trade for free. But oh no, there's problems here. We can potentially get just one hit down just before Deliverance actually comes into effect. We really need to last here with 15 seconds of endurance. It still should be doable. So Go to Dagestan now in the corner of 5. It does manage to dead hard just in time. He is not the decisive strike player, so we're able to still eat him down, and that will be the Deliverance back onto our Nia. So not all is lost. We have lasted just a little bit longer for that to actually, pan out into effect. So very good stuff from Go to Dagestan to actually be able to hit that dead hard, but all of a sudden now we are stopping all of the pressure here over at 7, and we're hooking straight on top of that generator. We flip the map on the side of our killer, and it's just going to negate all the pressure that we've currently been allocated. We do see the scratch marks leading back into 5 and following up with the blinks there. The scratch marks do tend to stop here over at the rock as we do fatigue. That is going to be another tag onto Space 01, and he has to run all the way down into 1 now, which is his next death location. You can only hope that it's just not being worked as it currently stands, and with the undetectable status effect, we are going to be downing our Adam there. Space 01 does have Unbreakable in his back pocket if he does need it, which he definitely will need, but maybe we just pick him up after pressing that survivor off the generator there. I do believe it was Yuki. We're going to be able to pick Adam up, Space 01. He's not going to have to use his Unbreakable. But wow, what a start to a game. Definitely looking like a 4K5 if we can uphold the pressure here. But Leon has that generator a little too far gone for us to, continue to last it. But we're going to be respecting the dead hard too. We know this Meg does not have a decisive strike, as we picked them up before with no repercussions. So that's going to be them slapped on the hook. The only exception to that rule would have been if we never used decisive strike in the first place in the first chase and just let the skill check fly if we were the decisive strike player. So I think we were just happy to eat that so early on in the trial. Baki not giving a care in the world, and he's putting on the aggressive front foot now. Able to turn back the clock on that generator. He's sitting over in corner 5 and does see Yuki just trying to bait out the blinks there with the edge map rocks, but again, not really working out for him. He does have Overcome to run back into corner 7, and again, just trying to buy as much distance as he possibly can, but he has been forced into the corner after we've done a little bit of the big walking and the plot twist in the corner even as well. I didn't even pick up on that with the side avatar HUD, so it's going to be him slapped on a hook. He's forcing the dally, so nice stuff from Ancestor to kind of just pull it back after such an early tunnel out. But we've seen a DC. Now, this is quite interesting. I'm not quite too sure what's happened here. It could be internet issues. It could be I don't know, some sort of a hardware issue. But after this fact, after it has been 90 seconds, we will just have to play this one out. It is a little too late for any sort of a restart here. So Baki now getting that tag and following up onto our Adam player here. He's going to be going down just before the edge map there. And we know that Leon is somewhere off in the distance here. Tavi, I've yapped on for the whole entire game. I'm going to let you take away these final dying moments of the game while I find out what the hell has happened.
You're on your streak right now, and that was an incredible amount of work done by Baki and you for the past 5-ish minutes. I think, yeah, just the performance here is sort of indicative as to why Team Australia did come through in the nurse set against Team Poland. Being able to match the result of Nightlight, being able to, actually I don't remember who played first, but being able to, you know, be on the level of Nightlight's nurse, I think is extremely incredible for Baki's, you know, I guess resume in the future. Yeah, this trial seems all but over. Space 01 gets hooked around this 7 area, and it's just, yeah, one survivor left in the trial. I guess like Leon could go for some, maybe try sneak to a generator, but Baki's trying to cover every single angle here. Just really not allowing any kind of better win condition, I guess, for our survivors of Ancestor. Even checking the edge map a little bit, just to maybe find out a stealth, but it's not really successful for the time being, checking this 11 edge map as he does continue his search. Yeah, oh, he actually got the unhook, Leon. He did manage to rotate from the top side, so this trial will be extended by a fair amount, but I guess maybe not for too long. Space 01 actually is the one with decisive strike, so it does want to try and bait the attention of Baki, but Baki's not taking the bait. He finds the generator here. That's going to be a tag onto Leon, and I think our survivors are having just a little bit of fun to close off this trial. He's actually going to jump to the locker, but not fast enough. So we'll have to see if that quote-unquote invincible build will get some value in these last moments of the trial. But yeah, Leon's on the run. Maybe he can do something funny. He does actually anticipate Baki's blinks, and that's a really big anticipation coming through. But unfortunately, it's a little bit late for that because you know, there's only 2 of you left here. So what are you gonna do? So yeah, I'm not sure. Actually, I don't. Okay, Space 01 actually does pop the breakthrough there. Maybe he didn't. Doesn't really matter at this point because, but again, now we got Leon on the ground. Space 01 probably going to follow fairly quickly, so I guess you can just start the 1v1 timer here, knowing that no unbreak will be in play. So yeah, let's start the timer now. Around 2 seconds in, Space 01 takes it outside of Shack, and it's just going to rotate actually all the way back up to 5. But I don't think with this health state you can make that much more. It goes edge map. That's a smart play, but it's not really enough. So yeah, final time of around 10 seconds. Not the longest of times, but wasn't really a proper 1v1 hunter, and I think that was alright, all things considered. There's 4k4 for Baki, and we had a disconnect. What can you do, man? What can you do?
Yeah, not much, unfortunately. Disconnections are not in the hands of OSL, therefore all remaining stages just get given to the killer. This is also to preserve time efficiency, because we've had staff here allocated on the day going on for 6 hours now. We are all extremely tired, despite the fact of how long this stream has actually gone on for. So we do apologize for the inconvenience, but this doubt feature for get ready for this, Midgie, and he did say, prepare the fog for his return. So therefore, we see the man himself spawning into the shack, and our killer Luther spawning all the way into 2. Does have a 4k5 to put on the table here. And my oh my, is that a tall order, especially against a team like Longbottom. I think what you'd need in this instance is to find Deli very early on and get a quick 2-tap. But with these guys in the question, is that going to be the case? I don't think so, as we do see Baki first off the rip. This this is our generator pressing survivor, as he does have Deja Vu self-care botany in hand with alongside sprint burst. So, you know, all things considered, it's a pretty well-rounded build, especially for when versing the nurse. We are going to be rotating back onto our other survivors who have already done the cross point down into the middle of the map, ready to press and double that gen. Luther does pick up onto that and does see them kind of all holding hands in the same position. Why, oh why are they all over at 5? And there's a little bit of flustering communications here, I would assume, as we do see Midgie just spurring off into the edge map there. Back vault, double backing very nicely and just sending our nurse player there into Narnia, where he does actually use the backside as Shaq. And now with the one blink, can we get the tag on now? No, we're edge mapping the Sally and the quick teabag to initiate the 1v1 again once more. Luther in a world full of hurt right now, forever in search of the first tag. This is exactly not what you want in a set like this. We are still forever trying to get it, and Midgie just going away from it, and it's created all kinds of distance, ladies and gentlemen. He is back in business. Luther trying to get line of sight through the window there. Back to the edge map goes Midgie, even hugging the wall. Why not? And the frustration really set in from Luther right now. He does not want to be here, just swinging his camera back and forth. And we know the pressure, and we know what it's like. He does have, do we bring deadlock or something in the trial? No, that's still corrupt intervention because it hasn't actually expired yet, but there it is. I didn't realize that it was still in the trial. I thought it was going to be gone a few seconds ago, but there it is. And you know, for the rest of the perks to proc this time around, we do need downs and we do need hooks. Again, still not getting our first tag. Silly can chase now over at 5. Does have the pallet to be working with. Doesn't choose to drop it. If he dropped it, he was safe, vaulting the window with life in hand. It is like DS, considering this is a ping set, so you don't want DS on the dead hard, I guess. But we are going to be facing into the corner of 7. Luther now trying to break the line of sight and trying to see where did our survivor go to. Maybe just be a little bit more patient, but it doesn't matter anymore because Silly has just doubled back into our killer. We are at the tie condition as it currently stands, even though it's looking really, really bad considering we only have one hook to show for it on the scorecard. It looks like we are very in the red at the moment. We do get the hook here over towards that middle 6 area, and we see the Pistons pumping away over at 9 Hill. Wow, what a start to the game, Tavi. What a start.
That is just Midgie taking full control, and sorry, just demanding the attention from Luther, and really just, yeah, masterclass of a chase from him. He just had perfect double backs. Again, remember this is ping, so the fact that Midgie gets away with that is even more impressive on his part in terms of the anticipation. So yeah, allows that first generator to pop. Luther's just really, really going to be on the back foot for the rest of this trial, I would say. As I say that though, back he goes down, so yeah, nicely done there to secure this, but the death spots in this trial have gone from bottom to top, and on the nurse set, that's usually a bad thing. Usually, if the death spot goes from one side of the map to the next, that is really good for the survivors. Depends though, but yeah, most of the time it's really good. And the other thing that's really good is that, of course, the survivor that was just hooked was not hooked before. So we're going to find Midgie again around this 5 area. Probably should be applied here and continued to press. But yeah, I guess Luther's just maybe not interested in chasing Midgie. He doesn't want to go through that experience again, and heads towards the opposite side of the map. Does actually find some scratch marks. Nearly gets a... Okay, nearly actually lost track of Canna there, but gets the last second tag and continues his chase. But yeah, Canna, I think, would have gotten the first pull. Probably has deliverance here. Gets the plot twist in time. So this is going to be a false pickup, and yeah, deliverance is not going to allow any pressure for Luther to continue. So yeah, Longbottom's chilling. They've given away 3 hooks, but they've spread out those 3 hooks really beautifully, Hunter. And also, they're in a good position right now, having that mid-gen done, and also having a good amount of gen pressure to go with.
They still have to be very careful because even though it's looking very favorable for them, our killer does still have the likes of Pop Goes the Weasel and Eruption alongside Turn Back the Clock. So once this gen gets popped, we're straight back over at 9, and we can use it for from a distance. But as I do say that Caster's Curse, we are now at the losing condition. We can no longer tie the game, so that means that the entire series will be going to Longbottom for an absolute smashing out the water. They put on the dominant performance as to oppose of Ancestor, but it was at the cost of the unfortunate event of Yuki disconnecting very early on in the trial, or like more towards middle of the game after the 90-second mark. So you can really chop it down to that fact. And you know what Deliverance, I completely forgot that he was a Delhi player. Hold on a second. So we are going to be following up here after the Delhi straight in our killer's face now. Luther trying to really get that second blink onto Canalave. Midgie in the background just slamming out pistons as well, down to at least the 2 generators remaining. So all things considered, Luther still has done pretty good here. I will give him credit. He can still pull it back to at least 6 to 9 stages. I don't think he'll get any more than that, and I'll be very surprised if he does. But Canalave, wow, even faked the basement and now is running the edge map again where he does have the pallet. He's even trying to die on it because he... is there anybody ready for the pallet save? Is that somebody in the corner? Yeah, it's Midgie! He's back, ladies and gentlemen! Wow! W stuff! There it is! And now Canalave is back in the trial running again. We do have another generator popping, and that's going to be 1 more remaining for the cost of 3 stages. Luther now, again... just, it's hell on earth for him. He's just not having a good time here in the fog. Midgie doing another pallet drop. How do you like him now? He still hasn't been tagged the whole trial. My God, this man, he needs to be stopped, and he's running the edge map again. He's whipping. No. Luther and the last generator popping over at main. Midgie able to extend his chase just a little bit longer. Again, only 3 stages on the board. Canalave now healthy, and finally the first tag onto Midgie does come through, and surely will want to down him and camp all remaining stages for just the amount of pain that he's caused throughout the entire trial. But another whiff coming in from Luther. Do we have someone on over at 5 exit gate? We do. It's going to be extremely hard to take protection hits against a nurse, but can we fulfill our destiny to get the down onto Midgie? No, and we've second guessed ourselves, going for a tag onto Baki, who ran into the middle of the map again. Over at Shack, actually, so more towards the corner. Maybe we can pull it back to at least the 5-stage game. Now Baki's done the complete jiggy around him. Look at that double back straight behind the backside of Shack. We are still trying to take that protection hit happening here. Ran into the middle of the map once more. Baki maybe plays for the hatch. No, decides he wants to just go back into the middle of the map. We're going to be forcing the rest of those survivors back in the exit gate, so... Baki now is just stuck. Silly trying everything he can to get the 4-man out, but we're going to be eating the tag there. A little bit of a goofy play style happening here, but I know it's all for the best, really trying to get Midgie out of the trial. A little bit of a failed blink there because we've gone behind the rock into the edge map, actually then returning back to the exit gate. Ran into the middle of the map again, Silly. Midgie, nice and healthy again. Plot twist in front of the killer. Humps, hello? What's happening? We still do have Silly left in the trial, who is injured. Back, he's healthy now because he did have self-care botany to be working with. And that double back was absolutely beautiful from Silly. Do we get the protection hit happening? I'm not too sure that we do, but we don't need it anyway. What the hell was happening now? Surely you boys just leave. The killer's got a DC and it doesn't matter at this point. Oh, the whiff too. And Silly's still in the trial. We're still trying to get Silly out. The endgame collapse is going to happen and everybody in the trial is going to die aside from Canalave. But there it is. Maybe the hatch play of some sort. But no, Silly going for the last 1v1. Crouch tech in the corner. Saw him with the line of sight there. One blink onto him maybe. If he makes it out, this will be absolutely crazy. Double back there. Oh, no. Don't tell me he gets out of the split second. Oh, my God.